How's it going, Jack Tackers, and welcome back to another video for you guys. Today, I'm going to be doing my review for Fear the Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 1, which was titled, Remember What They Took From You. Obviously, this is the Season 8 premiere, and this is the final season. And I'll be honest, I didn't really expect this kind of episode, because I was kind of going into the season optimistic. And yeah, this episode kind of let me down a little bit. It wasn't horrible, but I don't know. I was hearing some good things about this beforehand, so maybe my expectations were a little high, but like, I don't know. It wasn't a fantastic episode or anything, but it wasn't bad either. Not at least not necessarily, but we'll go through this episode. Basically, we already knew going into this season that there was going to be a 7-year time jump, and they make it very evident that 7 years has passed, which is kind of funny because so many characters say 7 years ago, 7 years ago, 7 years ago. They want to implement that in your mind that it's been 7 years since the events of season 7. It's hilarious, but yeah, a little clunky. I think they should have maybe not mentioned that it's been 7 years ago so many times throughout the episode. I mean, I think Morgan alone says it like 3 times. Oh, this is what happened 7 years ago. Like, yeah, I wonder how long it's been since season 7. I don't know. Anyway, obviously Mo's a lot older, and we get a little bit of a glimpse into Padre, which was something that had been hyped up since season 7, and we finally get to see, you know, some of the civilization that's sprouting in this community. You know, and it's kind of interesting. They have like these fighting pits, which is pretty cool, I guess. They put like these I want to say it's like a sponge into the walkers' mouths so they don't, well, they knock out all their teeth too. So it kind of also reminded me of Woodbury back in The Walking Dead Season 3 when they had the fighting pits. That kind of gave me similar vibes. But basically Mo, who's actually going by the name of Ren, she's fighting these walkers and she's not doing too good at it. And then she goes and finds this prisoner, Lark, who's actually Madison. So that's a funny thing. Madison's been the prisoner of Padre for 7 years, which is actually really crazy to think about, that she's been in the cell for 7 years. I'm pretty certain. I mean, I'm sure she's probably been moved around and like, you know, gets some fresh air every once in a while, maybe. But it's still kind of weird to think she's been in that cell. I mean, I assume she's been in that cell for 7 years because she actually attempts suicide in this episode because I think she's just like tired of being in the cell or just tired of being a prisoner. And anyway, when Mo goes to her cell, she wants Madison to help her fight, and she gives her the sledgehammer, and then Madison ends up breaking out. And apparently Madison just failed at getting Mo to Morgan after the events of season 7, because obviously Mo's still in Padre. But Madison still wants Mo to get out of Padre and to be back with Morgan, and you know, wants to fulfill her promise with Morgan, which she said at the end of season 7. And I believe the cold opening to this episode was not present day, but back in the past. Like, they definitely established that in the cold opening. It's like pretty much right after the events of season 7, and then it cuts to the 7-year time jump because Madison tried to help Morgan, a collector, and yeah, they didn't like that Madison tried to help Morgan, so that's obviously why she was imprisoned. But yeah, so it was really crazy, though, going back to Madison trying to kill herself. That was pretty tragic. I don't know. That was kind of messed up. But anyway, they come across Morgan once they escape, and Morgan apparently wants Mo to actually go back to Padre because Morgan kind of believes that this is what's best for her. And it's kind of sad to see that Morgan thinks this, I will say. But yeah, that was pretty shocking. And then they end up going to this swamp area and to this houseboat. And there's a bunch of interesting things written on the wall about Dwayne and Jenny and King County. Obviously, we know that they're going to go back to King County and back to Morgan's house at some point in this season, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I do like that. But they come across some walkers, and then they're hoping that Padre comes to rescue them like they did 7 years ago, because it's been 7 years, remember? But then Grace ends up saving them. And it was cool to see Grace. I wish we saw more characters in this episode, but I guess that's just how the show is. They rarely show all the characters in one episode. I mean, it's been like this for the past 2 seasons, but yeah, it's just something that I need to complain about because I wish we saw more of the characters, like June and Dwight and Sherry and Daniel. And apparently we don't know where Victor is, but all right, whatever. But yeah, the swamp environment was pretty cool. I will say that. It was really rad, I gotta say. And it's kind of spooky seeing all the walkers in the water and stuff like that. And yeah, at one point, Madison was almost about to get chomped. But then, yeah, as I said, Grace comes and saves them. But then it's revealed once they get out of that swampy area that Morgan radios Padre to take Mo back. And yeah, it was like kind of a betrayal, I guess, for Mo. And Madison's kind of pissed at Morgan as well because Madison is kind of confused why Morgan wants Mo to be back at Padre. But yeah, it was pretty sad actually to see Mo go back with Padre. I think Mo kind of wanted a family, I guess, and to kind of be with Morgan and Grace. But here's the problem with all of this. Does Mo actually have a memory of what happened 7 years ago? That's what the episode made it seem like what was going on. She was having these flashes of what happened that night when she was trying to get saved by Morgan. And then it was like confusing. I don't know if she was actually remembering this or it was just like an artistical decision to show these flashes, but it seemed like maybe Mo has some recollection of what occurred 7 years ago. What? How's that possible? She was a baby. That's, I don't know. And like, I don't know. It's very weird. She was with Morgan for like just a few minutes and she like wanted to be with him. It's kind of confusing. I don't know. But I think this was just kind of like her first taste of, I guess, a family because Padre isn't really family oriented. It's basically, structured as like training, child soldiers basically, which is pretty crazy actually, but also kind of smart. I mean, you want to train your children young, especially in this world. But yeah, there's like no family values, it appears, in Padre, which is kind of sad. But overall, the episode, as I mentioned, it wasn't great. Just because, like, I don't really know how this advances the plot. Like, yeah, there was a big time skip, so I guess, they just kind of thought, hey, look, we give you a time skip, so that's all the story we're doing. I don't know, because it's like Mo's back at Padre again. Okay, that's how she started the episode. Like, how does this advance her character in any way? Like, I don't know, I guess now she probably doesn't want to be in Padre. So yeah, that could be something. But it looks like next week's episode we're going to be getting some of the other characters like June and I think Dwight and Sherry maybe. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, believe it or not, just because I'm interested. It's the sunk cost fallacy. It really is. I'm just interested to see where this goes. And I am still going to give the rest of the season some of that optimism that I had going into this episode, even though this episode kind of let me down just a tiny bit. But, it is what it is. Those are just my general thoughts and a brief rundown of the episode. But let me hear your thoughts on the episode. I'm definitely curious to see what you guys have to say. I think maybe a few people liked it, but then I saw a lot of other people didn't really like it. So I don't know. It's funny that everyone who still watches the show kind of hates it. Again, sunk cost fallacy. I think that's all it is. But yeah, definitely curious to see what you guys have to say. So post all your thoughts and comments down below. And if you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, check out my Letterboxd and Twitter down in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.